The mystery of awakening, afloat in the flay. When Nao woke, she found herself lying near the edge of a different water body. It was wide and still, black, cool, deep. It glistened with a luminescent gold. Nao seemed to float all the way to the edge and to be lifted, placed gently onto shore. Her dress soiled and wet, hair a mess and full of unfamiliar leaves and twigs. She lay on her back, breathing normally, not afraid. Hearing the faint call of a somewhat familiar bird song, Nao exhaled deeply and sharpened her gaze above her head. She felt warm. Counting all toes and fingers, she breathed in, deeper still. Her heart raced, its drumming rhythm sounding like an old clock. It echoed into the trees above her head. Plucking strange leaves from her hair, Nao caught sight of what she thought were 3 women on the other side of the water body, some distance from where she lay. Pushing herself upright to see more clearly, a timelessness washed over Nao, filling her with light. "Yo, maybe I'm dreaming," she queried out loud. "Not quite a dream," a voice and answer returned. But from where, thought Nao? The voice had the familiar texture of red clay from her village, a certain but not fixed form yielding to its environment. Nao looked towards the trees overhead and saw 1,000 branches, looking as if leaning into eternity. She didn't recognize these trees. Just then, a swarm of bees escaped the tree, their hum and buzz, a weak song which contradicted their uniform. They appeared to Nao to be one large bee, which settled on a small bush at the water body's edge. Their queen flew straight at Nao's head and began to speak. Was it her voice that Nao just heard? "You've traveled a long distance, we can see," she buzzed. The color and tone of the voice a tarnished bronze, with a texture rough and flaky, revealing age and fatigue. "You, my dear, look more than hungry." Nao wondered how she could hear the sad, apologetic voice of this bee. "Haibo, I must be dreaming," she again demanded out loud. Ignoring Nao's plea and sounding a bit defensive, the bee answered, "We are faced with an unnatural problem." The others joined her again, forming what appeared to Nao as one gigantic but solitary bee. "We've only just come to know who we actually are in the face of this challenge, when before now we felt ourselves on the path to greatness." And with that, they vanished. Nao again looked in the distance across the flay, toward where she'd seen the old woman. In fact, she was actually quite hungry, famished. Realizing she was quite far away from her village, with its thicket scrub and brush, rushing rivers, green rolling hills, and sugarcane fields, she began to feel a bit faint. "I must be dreaming," she negotiated with herself as she turned to walk toward the old women. "I will go to them. Those women will surely help me find my way back to my village." "Do you think you're the only creature on earth who's hungry?" Nao heard as she turned to walk towards the old women. "I've been following these bees all morning, looking for my sustenance, and then you appeared, out of nowhere," said a small pink-billed bird, which had suddenly perched on Nao's shoulder. "So now how am I supposed to feed my chicks? You must help me," he demanded. And with that, he too took flight, leaving Nao standing in place, curious and confused.